Now, let's kick off with a few questions here. Now, other than making an attribute mandatory, how can we do this with other fields like a supplier part number or customer contacts?
Okay, so those at the moment, those sort of fields, if they're system fields other than attributes, then they can be made mandatory through a customization. So it is a customization package with an MYOB Advanced. And if it's restricted to one screen, it can be a simple process.
Of course, that's coming with some changes fairly soon. I think Bridget might talk a little bit about that. Again, looking forward to hearing some dates and times. Joking, Bridget. But no, certainly you can make some of your non-attribute fields mandatory. There's lots of things you can do with customizations. Advanced does offer a fairly low-code approach to some of those changes. So it's not as complex as it might seem, but reach out to your business partner, have the conversation. With Advanced, it is all possible. Now, continuing on, and I think I might get you with this one, Kimeya. I'd like to know if there's a standard report on historical stock take variances where I can see the system stock take result for chosen periods in details by location. And the question that's being asked is in relation to MYOB EXO Business version 2022.3.1.105.
So we're looking for possibility in advance?
We're looking to see if it can be done in EXO.
In EXO? Well, not my area of expertise.
Grant, I think I've got a Stump here.
Does you'll try anything. No, you're asking the advanced expert.
I can show you that in advance, but
why don't you show us that in advance and talk to us about that in advance? If you are looking for some assistance around that in terms of EXO, we'll see if we can reach out and provide some details. But Kimeya, why don't you answer that question from an advanced perspective for me?
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, we do have stock variants, especially when it comes to stock take as well. So there are variance reports in the system already there. When you do a stock take, there's a report that you print out as part of the process, and you can clearly identify those variances, dollar values, etc. And then on a regular basis as well, you have inventory balance and inventory valuation reports. Others, generic inquiries as well, that can easily help you identify variances in the system.
Good. That's great, Kimeya. And of course, one of those big differences between MYOB EXO and MYOB Advanced is when you do that stock take, you will see that breakdown of stock by location. In Advanced, we do actually support multiple costs by location. So you can have a different cost for your Sydney location versus a cost for your Auckland location. And of course, your stock take reporting will manage all of that for you. Great features there. Now, how do you turn on the side panel feature? And can I just say, we've had a lot of questions about side panels and mass updates. I think we've got 4 people asking about enabling of side panels, and one person asking about how do we turn on mass updates. So if you want to share your screen and run through both of those for us in a little bit more detail, that would be fantastic.
Let's take a look. So if for me, the easiest way to do this is if you're in your generic inquiry or you're on that particular screen. Okay, and up the top here, you click on the customization button, and it is edit generic inquiry. So that will take you straight to the particular generic inquiry. Okay, in here. The other way to go about that is to go directly to the generic inquiry screen. So that is also another option. And you would then, from the list, look for the particular generic inquiry that you want to update. All right. So first of all, let's look at the mass updates. All right. So on the tab of entry point, what you'll usually see is the operations with records. Okay. So it gives you a few options here. And you've got mass actions. So those are the things like releasing, taking off hold, that sort of thing. Mass record deletion, of course, if you've got a whole lot of items, and you want to just, maybe you imported a whole bunch of invoices incorrectly and they're still on the balance status, you just want to in bulk delete them, you can do so as well. So if you these to do with custom items, all right, so we don't use that very often. And then of course the all important one is the enable mass record update. All right, so if I go and enable that one, I'll just tick that one, and I'll tick the top one as well. And as I do so, I now have 2 extra tabs that pop up for me. All right, so if I go to mass update fields, and if I click on the plus button, you will then be able to select from a range of all of the items that you can then select to update en masse. All right, so again, if I want to, let's do branch, I can do that there, and we save that. On the mass actions, if I then want to, put maybe remove from hold, I can do so as well. All right, so if I then go and view inquiry, there's 2 things that you will see. Right, so you've got now this whole list of checkboxes down the bottom, down the side. And under your menu, you've got update. So if it says update, then that's your mass update function. And then if you've got any mass action functions, it will be there as well. So you'll see remove hold, and then you'll see remove hold all, which gives you the same process, same ability as the process and the process all that you see in other areas of the system. All right, so when you select a few items, oops, sorry. My mouse is doing its own thing. There we go, and update here. You then see the field that you added in that generic inquiry setup. All right, and from here, you then select which branch you want to update this particular invoice to. Okay.
Fantastic. Now, did you have a little bit of a look at the side panels as well?
Yes, absolutely. The good stuff. All right, so with your side panels, is, so I showed you 2 types of side panels. There was the side panels that you see on your generic inquiries. This is something that's easily done by yourselves through, again, the generic inquiry screen. The other side panels that I showed you was on the stock items. All right, so this was on a particular master record, and it was on a screen rather than a generic inquiry. So these screen panel side panels have to be done through a customization, so a customization package that we discussed earlier. However, if it's a generic inquiry, by all means, you can do this yourselves. Okay, so we'll jump in here, and we are going to look at navigation. All right, so navigation is where you set up these side panels. All right, so I will just remove these 2, and then we'll do them again. Okay, so I'm going to now link the invoice to the printed PDF invoice form. Okay, so I'm going to click on the plus button to add a row. And in here, you're going to look for the generic inquiry or the screen or the form that you want to link. All right, so in here, I'm going to look for my invoice and memo. Right, and it is this particular printed forms line that I'm after. Now your window mode. Now we are talking about side panels, but you also have these other options. So you can look at it popping up in a new tab. You can look at it being a pop-up window as well. All right, so in this instance, I'm going to select side panel. All right, and on the right hand side, I then get to choose an icon. All right, I'll just pick anything for now. Put in your title, whatever you want it to be displayed as. Okay, and then in the navigation parameters, we're going to select particular fields to match the items. All right, so again, looking at your printed form, you want to match the document type to the document type of the transaction. So AR invoice document type. And then another parameter on the invoice form is the reference number. So I then want to match this to the invoice reference number as well. So AR invoice reference number. All right. So if I save that and view my inquiry, okay, I now see my printed form.
As easy as that.
As easy as that. So that's available again on all of your generic inquiries. Okay, so same process applies. It's just a matter of mapping it to the right fields.
That's great. Now, I've got another question here. I don't seem to have the option of customization within generic inquiries. Mm-hmm. Is this a setup issue? Do you want to talk to those permissions, Kimeya?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so that can be another thing. So it could be your license. So your license has restrictions on customizing reports or generic inquiries, and it just depends on the role as well that you have. So depending on what those two are, it might affect your ability to have that see that customization button up the top, or be able to search yourself. So if you don't necessarily see it up the top here, try the other approach of searching, using the generic inquiry screen directly. And if you're still having issues accessing that, then speak to your partner about it, and they should be able to point you in the right direction in terms of what you're missing.
That's great. Now, what's your favorite feature in Advanced, Kimeya? It's like asking which is your favorite child, isn't it? Although you've only got one, so that's an easy one.
Yeah.
Any favorite features in Advanced?
Favorite features. I quite like automation, similar to things like this, with generic inquiries and business events. I think they're so good. They give you so much flexibility, and all the things that you get from notifications and automating processes in the background. It's great. So if you're not using business events at the moment, I highly recommend reaching out to your business partner and finding out more about it. It's great.
That's great. Now, Trisha's favorite feature sounds like it's side panels. She says that side panels are the best. But she actually loves some more information on how to configure, use, and implement Power BI dashboards. And that actually aligns with what Mari has asked as well. Can you show us a little bit more about the Power BI widgets or dashboards that you showed us earlier?
Okay, so it's not a straightforward setup, but there is. I'll just jump in here. Actually, no, not this one. Just use another dashboard. Sorry, a bit slow in the afternoon. There we go. All right, so when you add a widget, there is a Power BI tile here. All right, so we're using this, and again, it's this different ways to use Power BI in the system. Okay, you can embed it in your dashboard, or you can just have it as a particular screen. Right, but as I said, the setup of it and connecting it is not as straightforward thing as side panels or using what's in the system. So there is a bit of a mini project involved, I guess, in setting that up. So again, definitely reach out to your business partner, or reach out to us, and we can put you in touch with the right people as well to get you some more information on how that process works.
Fantastic. Now, another question here: how easy is it to export the data once you've drilled down to it from a dashboard view? Really, we just talk about generic inquiries and the export features. Do you want to dive into that one for me, Kimeya?
Yeah, definitely. Very easy. That's a great thing about generic inquiries and MYOB Advanced. I always promote it to all my clients. Wherever you see the little Excel button, it's your best friend, because you can export everything. So that is the little button I'm talking about here. So in the same way as you've got a list, or even if you going back to the opportunities, if you drill down and you get to a generic inquiry, you can simply export from here, and then it's just going to download this information for you. You can even use your filters to narrow that list down before you export as well. And there it is, available for me in my downloads. It's very easy.
Easy as that.
Yeah, click of a button.
Or how do I perform payroll adjustments to reverse previous entries and adjust the ABA file?
All right. So at the moment, when you do payroll adjustments, you're simply adjusting the payroll module, and then it adjusts your journal entries. All right. But in that process, it doesn't actually produce a new file for you because it's not producing a new payment. If you're aiming to adjust your payment and produce a new file, then it is a matter of reversing that pay and creating it again, making any changes, because in that reversal process, it will open the new pay run for you with the exact same data, but then it gives you the ability to make any changes that you need to and then process again. Now, I know the pain point probably is that with reversals, you kind of have to do them in order. So if you're reversing a pay from last month and you already processed 3 in the middle, then you're going to have to reverse all of those ones. So I do understand. I don't believe it has been mentioned, I guess, to the MYOB team, but still sort of work in progress. Nothing concrete as yet, as far as I know.
Okay. What's the best practice way to manage multi-currency transactions? We struggle to do this and be confident in the results.
Oh, okay. That's a bit of a open-ended question. Again, I guess it depends on the setup, right? Because I mean, Advanced gives you the ability to have multi-currency, and as long as your companies are set up correctly in the system, and your same as likewise your branches, and there's lots of abilities to do, intercompany transactions and foreign currency. So I guess, yeah, if you want to get in touch with some more information, that would be great. We would love to sit down with you and see what's going on and dig a bit deeper.
All I'm hearing is excuses. That's all I'm hearing.
Well, if you want to give me the files now, I can dig into it. Yeah, then.
All right, moving on to the next one. Can you lodge Australian and New Zealand GST returns from within Advanced? We're in the process of implementing Advanced at present and have been told that we can't lodge our BAS or NZ GST directly from Advanced.
Yes. What they told you is true, basically. So at the moment, there is no direct link for to the IRD in New Zealand. So GST returns is impossible to be a direct upload. I suppose. It does give you a preview of the form after you process your GST return and gives you the figures in the appropriate boxes, but it is unfortunately a matter of copy and pasting, that sort of thing. Likewise, in Australia, there is no direct link for uploading your BAS. There is only, at the moment, a link to the ATO for STP, and that's payroll. So yeah, unfortunately, not quite yet. Bridget, I'm not sure if you have any insights as to whether there's possibly going to be that link or...
Look, lots of projects going on. We continually look at it, but it's not one that we're able to put on the short-term roadmap. What you can do, though, is not even just copy and paste. You can actually just print it out and submit the form that way.
Good tip there. Thank you, Bridget. Now, got another question here. How do you change the information or logo on an invoice template?
Okay, so that is done through Report Designer. All right, so this, again, you can download it. I'll just open it up. Can you see that? Is that sure?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. All right, so report designer gives you that ability. So let me just do that here. What do we got?
Putting you on the spot here, aren't we?
Yeah, that's all right. So log in. So we load our form. All right, and now your logo. Your logo can either be embedded within the form itself, like it is here, or on your company's screen, you load a logo up the top there. All right. So within the company itself, under visual appearance, you do have the ability to upload logos. And as you can see, you can have a site logo, which is what appears here, and you can have a different kind of logo for your reports. Right. So if you do go down this route, then instead of using under the source section here, instead of using embedded, you're going to use database instead, and it's just a formula to say use that branch logo.
That's great.
All right. So in the same way, you basically update fields if you need to in the value section, but it is a bit of a learning process. So yeah, definitely reach out to your partner for some guidance on that. And then it's just a matter of saving it to your site as well. And you can have multiple different versions.
That's great. And just expanding on that, of course, best practice would be to use the logo from the branch, and that way you do support multiple branches, multi-entities with the one invoice format. It is something that's easy to break an invoice if you jump in and without really being 100% confident. So if you're not sure, do just reach out to your business partner and they can support you around those changes. 3 more questions here, 2 for you, well, 1 for me, I'd say, 1 for you, Kimeya, and then I'm going to hand over 1 for Bridget. Now, we've got 1 here. I'm not sure that all this marketing or promotion is a good use of our time. Look, it is very difficult sometimes for us to try and manage that. How much time do we spend on each segment? We really do appreciate your feedback. We will be bringing up a feedback QR code shortly. In the in-person events, we actually go a little bit longer and go into some Q&A sessions. But give us your feedback. Let us know what we can do to improve the online events. And if you're looking for more details around product, come along to one of our in-person user groups, and that way you can lock a consultant such as Kimeya. She's more than happy to have a drink afterwards or something like that, so you can get some extra attention if you're looking for some assistance. Now, I've got another question for, here we go. Can you use scanners with the inventory system? And if so, which ones do you recommend?
Scanners.
Yeah, you definitely can.
Definitely can. There's quite a few. Well, actually, MYOB itself has the warehouse management scanning. So that's your first, I guess, your first point.
Yep.
All right. To check out, it's it's there. It does scanning, it does receiving, transferring, and it can be done on the app. So the MYOB app. So if you want something already built in, then definitely an option. So that is the automated warehouse operations within MYOB Advanced. A lot of our clients also use Avexo. All right, Avexo is another option to do scanning, inventory management, receiving, shipping, that sort of thing. Yeah, but again, definitely reach out to your business partners or your account managers, and they'll be able to give you a range of options. Of course, there's lots out there, and it just depends on what suits your business, what suits your processes. It's a different option.
Expanding on that, automated operations is a great set of functions enabled through the Advanced mobile app. If you're not using the Advanced mobile app, it should be something you certainly look at. It can be supported on a whole range of devices and has some great features that comes with MYOB Advanced to part of the licensing that's available. Avexo does take those functions a little bit further. Offers probably a broader scope of functionality around that warehousing requirement more flexibility around things such as your picking process, the ability to have zones. So for example, a freezer zone that gets picked separately from a dry goods zone, introduces features such as replenishment bins or replenishment processes. So just takes that requirement around warehouse management a little bit deeper. Now, Kimeya, is there anyone on today's session that uses MYOB Advanced with the stock module and is based in Auckland?
Anyone on the session? I'm sure there's lots. Auckland is basically all stock.
There's actually a lot of stock users.
There is a lot, yeah. New Zealand's heavily based in.
Look, Ruth, unfortunately, we probably can't answer that one today. We will endeavour, though, to try and connect you with some advanced clients in Auckland. And if you are based in Auckland, please do come to our Auckland user group next time and you can meet some people in person. Now, we do have a question here about AD authentication that I might actually pass on to Bridget. So thank you, Kimeya. I don't think I stumped you.
Good work. So the question is how to, where is it? What is the easiest way to enable AD authentication? So it's only used with Windows credentials rather than MYOB Advanced role allocation. So we use Azure single sign-on, and so there's not an easy way for you to do it yourself, but there is an easy way in that if you reach out to your partner or our customer success, they can help you enable it for your site.
Okay, fantastic, Richard.